In France, first of all, authorities are questioning a man who carried out a gruesome attack, or is believed to have carried out a gruesome attack in southeastern France, driving a van into a gas factory, setting off an explosion, and then he left the decapitated head of a victim covered in Arabic writing pinned to the fence of the factory that he attacked. He's claiming to be a member of ISIS. Let's move to Kuwait now. ISIS is claiming responsibility there for an attack on a Shiite mosque. An apparent bomb blast tore through the mosque, killing at least 27 people. 227 others were wounded. Let's bring in CNN military analyst Lieutenant General Mark Hertling and Olivier Guida, Managing Director of Global Strat. Thank you, gentlemen, both so much for being with us. Lieutenant General, I want to start with you if I could. So ISIS is claiming responsibility for 2 of these 3 attacks. Do you believe that they were ordered to do so and that they just were lone wolves who carried this out, or did they actually dispatch people to these areas?
Well, it depends on how you define ordered, Christy. I think they certainly would be supportive of all 3 of these attacks, and especially in the diversity of them. One against an American business, one against a Shia mosque named after a moderate imam, Imam Sadiq, and the third one being in Tunisia against Western interest. But to say they ordered it, probably not. It was more of a, it's definitely different than Al-Qaeda that used to go centralized planning, decentralized execution. I think now we're just in a mode of attack any interest of the West, any interest that goes against the caliphate.
So, Mr. Guida, of course it's Ramadan, this is the holy month. How do you think that affects what we're seeing, this increase in terror attacks?
It affects it a lot, especially it happened 3 days after al-Adnani, the spokesman for the Islamic State, released an audio tape where he called on all his followers to attack infidels, especially Shias and Westerners during Ramadan, and that they would be doubly rewarded. So I tend to agree that it wasn't coordinated, but much more of a coincidence that it was the first Friday after that call for attacks from the Islamic State.
Lieutenant Hertling, Lieutenant General, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson issued a bulletin warning of possible attacks here in the U.S. over the 4th of July weekend. He said it was partly in response to the terror attacks in France and Tunisia and Kuwait. But do you think this warning was imminent despite those attacks?
I think it was, Christy. I think you have probably seen the FBI over the last week or so be extremely active in their questioning and even in their detainment of some that they have seen on the watch list. So they are attempting to step up the pace a little bit. It's extremely challenging given the number of people who have been self-proclaimed jihadists or who they found looking on the internet. But I think the FBI is trying to do everything they possibly can, and Homeland Security, excuse me, to stop these kind of attacks. And knowing that we're in the middle of the month of Ramadan, and knowing that it's the anniversary of the Caliph as stated by ISIS, and knowing it's the 4th of July, all 3 of those things contribute to the potential for attacks and the kinds of styles that we've seen in the past. Well,
and Mr. Guida, of course, this is the 2nd terror attack of mass casualties at popular tourist destinations there in Tunisia. In March 23rd, there were people who died when a gunman stormed the Bardo Museum. How entrenched do you think ISIS is in Tunisia specifically?
Look, Tunisia is an interesting example because compared to other countries, the Islamic State is less entrenched because the main group is Ansar al-Sharia and Al-Qaeda and Islamic Maghreb historically that have been very present in Tunisia. But that shows you how quickly the Islamic State can gain followers and get operatives to act. But that's one of the things that we have to remember. Al-Qaeda is not dead yet, and there's a competing target between those 2 groups all over the world.
Lieutenant General Mark Hertling and Olivier Guida, we are so appreciative of your thoughts this morning. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Christy.
Thank you.
Thank you.